Welcome to Upper Lafayette on the Move. I'm Jan Swift. We're honored to have as today's guest Dr. Gwen Fontenot, Interim Dean of the B.I. Moody III College of Business Administration, right here at UL. Gwen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Jan.
I'm so pleased to have you on the show. I'm a big fan of the School of Business. I've had the opportunity to work with several of your professors, and we recently worked together on a conference, a women's conference,
Right.
talking about women and pay disparity. And I realized then I hadn't had you on the show, so I want to thank you for making time today.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. Before we get started, would you please give us your background, talk about where you grew up, your education, and how you got to this post at UL?
Sure. I'm actually from the Acadiana area. I grew up in Evangeline Parish, and my background's varied. Mm-hmm. I grew up in a business family, so I grew up with small business, entrepreneurship, and I've also worked in corporate America as well. So I have a mix of academics and
Mm-hmm.
business experience, industry experience. But working backwards, I've been at UL now for about 17 or 18 years.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I was, prior to becoming the interim dean, I had served for 7 years as the department head for hospitality, marketing and hospitality department. And I had just stepped down for about a year whenever I was asked to take over this position. But prior to that, I have a master's of business from ULM. Now it was Northeastern.
Okay.
And then I have my doctorate in marketing from North Texas State University.
Mm-hmm. What brought you to Texas? How did you end up there? The curriculum or life?
The curriculum, and I'd heard really good things about, it's now the University of North Texas,
Right.
but at the time it was North Texas State, and I'd heard really good things about the PhD coordinator there. And so I had looked at Texas A&M, University of North Texas, and Boulder, and I decided to go to North Texas.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So in your time here at UL, what areas, have you been in the business school, you're saying completely for that long? I know.
Yes, I've been in the marketing. It was marketing department prior to us bringing in hospitality management. And so I actually started here as an instructor back in the early 80s, and then left to go get the PhD, and then came back here just kind of by chance. I had taught in Colorado and in Dallas, and then I left academics for industry for about 10 years. So I worked in customer satisfaction research and marketing research for 10 years.
Right, on the ground training.
Yes, yeah.
You know, we were talking off camera. I have never studied business per se or marketing, and I've had to learn on the job what to do, but it seems like almost any career you're in, marketing is a part of what you do. Marketing yourself, marketing your product, your company.
It really is. I tell students a lot of the time, specifically the personal selling class that we teach, it doesn't matter what your major is, but you're going to have to sell yourself at some point in time.
Always.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it effectively, you really hold yourself back.
That's right.
For a few years, I've served as a judge. It was through the School of Business, but I saw they just had something online where kids, I guess in marketing, whatever, pitch products or they pitch different things, and I got to judge some of that. That was fun.
That's excellent. Yeah, we do a lot of different projects in our classes. We had a couple of promotion classes, and we had people from the community come and judge their promotional campaigns. And then we have our sales program, and we have leaders in the community who come and judge their role plays. So we have a lot of on the job, hands-on learning that we try to do with students, and we bring the community in on that.
The students I've seen, Gwen, have been very professional and much more skilled than I was when I was a young college student. It was impressive.
Well, thank you. I guess we've learned from our own mistakes, and so now we're training them better.
I know. Well, let's talk about the School of Business, about the number of students, the high points, things you're proud of. Just go into whatever you'd like to share.
Okay. Well, in the College of Business, we have 4 departments and 8 majors, and then we also have the graduate program. And in our graduate program, we have the regular MBA program. We have MBA with the healthcare concentration. We also now have a Master's of Science in Accounting, because we have a lot of students who want to get their CPA. And so they can come back, they need 150 hours to be able to do that. So they can come back and get a master's on top of the bachelor's and do that. And then we were talking earlier, we have the executive MBA program as well. So all total, we have about 2,200 to 2,500 students at any given time in the college, undergrad and masters. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the programs, like what's popular in the School of Business. some of the layers of programs.
With the accounting program is extremely popular. Probably all of the accounting firms in town have at least one or more of our graduates, and many are owned by our graduates. So that's a very popular field. The finance degree is also very popular, so we have a lot of students in there. And then we have some specialty areas. We have the hospitality management, insurance and risk, and professional land and resource management. So those are quite interesting and unique programs that we offer. And then our sales program in the marketing department has become nationally known in the past 4 or 5 years, and so we're really proud of that. Yes.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So on the, if we can go first maybe to the hospitality program, because I know that's your background. You came from that, that program. I would think, given our tourism and what Acadiana has to offer, that would be a popular choice.
It is. It's very popular. And, you know, there are 3 legs to the program. You have food services, you have lodging, and then you have tourism. So when I came into the department as department head, that's when we were transferring the program over to our college. And I didn't really think I had a background in hospitality, but I had owned a bakery and I had worked in restaurants and things before, so I sort of had a little bit of a background in it. But that program is very popular, and particularly events planners. People love to, students love to do event planning. And working with tourism. Obviously we have so many restaurants here, and so if you go into any restaurant, you're going to find our students either being a service staff or going to be managers. But we don't train them to be chefs or culinary school. We train them to manage every aspect of the business.
You have event planning classes?
We do. We have an event planning class. In fact, they just finished working with the Louisiana Open. The students volunteer with different projects, and they work every year with the Louisiana Open at La Triomphe Golf and Country Club. And so they just finished with that project.
I'm laughing because my husband has watched me. You know, we put on big events for Upper Lafayette, not like the Louisiana Open or anything, but you know, when you have meetings for about 125, 150 people, everything can and will go wrong. And it's stressful, but we're both lawyers too, and he read this article about the most stressful thing in the world, like jobs. And I thought it would be brain surgeon or, you know, tight wire, whatever. But it was event planners. And I guess because everything can go wrong. And you just have to keep on acting like we've got it under control, and you do have it under control if you know what you're doing. It's
pretty amazing working with these people, so we're really excited to have them in our college, because now we can put on all these events and we have their help. But watching them, we do the C'est Magnifique as a fundraiser we did in the marketing and hospitality department, and watching the faculty and students put that on was phenomenal. It just, you know, every aspect that you just don't even think about, you know, from having trash cans in the right place to having the table set, and just
parking and security. And I've had things happen where the lights went out before an event. I mean, just everything that can happen at some point will. And you just have to learn. I'm rolling with it.
Well, just call us, because we can get some students to help you, because our hospitality students have to do 800 hours of work in the industry.
I've got things they can help with, and it's good practice.
It is. It's excellent.
So what about some of the other programs? I've had friends taking the executive MBA program, and these are people in high levels in their companies, at big companies. And if you could tell us about it, I know it's weekends that people commit.
It's about a 15 to 18 month time period, and they come in every other weekend. So it's very intense weekends. They come in on Friday afternoons all the way through the weekend. They're not real happy when it's football season, but that's okay. They come in anyway. And so it's the same MBA program that we're offering to our regular part-time MBAers, but it's in a condensed format. And so it's a cohort, so they do the whole program together. So they are working through, and they become very close working, studying buddies, if you will, because they're going to go through every course together, and they work all their projects together, all their assignments are done together. It's very intense, and it's designed for executive level students, so you can't get into the program unless you have extensive executive experience.
Can you tell me, you know, as I said, I hadn't studied business. When you're getting an MBA, and let's say you're a high level, like one of my friends, Flo Ziegler, is, you know, she does human resources at Stone Energy. I mean, she's got tremendous experience. What would she get out of the executive MBA program? Because I know she raved about it. She was thrilled with what she learned. But What do they learn? What are they taught?
Well, Flo, for example, like you said, is in human resource management. So she is going to get the whole breadth of business. So she's going to learn more accounting, more finance, more statistics, and learn how to put it all together to help her better manage her business. She may still be focusing on human resource management in her job, but now she'll have a better understanding of how all the other areas feed into her area.
So even though she's working with a cohort of the same students, she has a customized program for what she needs.
They all take the same program, but they'll all go through the accounting class together, all go through the finance class, but she'll learn from their experience. So she may have somebody who's an operations manager, or who's a production manager, or who's an accountant, or who's a chief financial officer. And so they bring their knowledge to supplement what the instructors are providing as well.
Okay.
So they learn from one another as well as from the instructors.
So most of the people taking the courses are not doing this necessarily to, are they doing it to get promotions, or are they doing it to be better at what they're, better skilled at what they're doing?
It's a combination. We've had some cohorts that are there simply to get promotions because they seem to all kind of congregate at the same cohort, and others are doing it just to get better at what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything more fun than to really, at this level, to have the ability to improve yourself.
Well, and for example, Dr. Patricia Lanier teaches the capstone course typically, and they always do a project. So a couple of years ago, they did a project for Youngsville, and they helped them to develop a strategic plan for their master plan for the city. And so they're still using components of that every day. But somebody like Flo, who would never have had an opportunity to do that in her job, has to work with everybody to pull that together for them.
Right. What is the capstone program?
It's the final class. It's the management class. So it brings everything together that you've taken. So they have to use their finance and accounting and all the other courses, marketing, management.
So to get into the MBA program, do you have to have had good grades in undergrad?
For the for the regular masters, there's a formula that we use. It's your grade point average and the GMAT exam.
When you take the test to see if you're qualified.
So there's a formula there. We're kind of, the trend is to sort of move away from the GMAT now. So we haven't done that quite yet, but that is a trend nationally. At the executive level, they do look at your grades, but mostly they're looking at your executive experience because you've been out of school for about 7 years.
Yeah. You've survived
and you've survived.
The trenches.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can't just be a slug showing up.
Right.
I want to have an MBA.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah. So you have to have a background, an educational background.
Yeah. Well, we were talking also. It looks like the UL school has been in the news. Some of your students have been honored, and one I saw was in Belgium right before the terrorist attacks.
Yes, just the week before.
Yeah.
That's a program that we have with our Masters of Business students who participated with some engineering graduate students. And so it's a program, it's a competition that they do. It's basically on sustainability. And so they had students from all over the world who presented their project, and we found out just a few weeks ago, I think they had about 2 or 3 weeks to prepare, that they were going to be in the final 8. And so 2 of the 4 team members were able to go to Belgium and present, and their project was on water sustainability and making sure there was no wastewater. So they presented, and they were the only English-speaking students there. The others all presented in French. And so they presented, and then after they presented and won, in fact, Gabrielle, our student, said they didn't even realize they had won because they spoke in French and they didn't understand them. And so
congratulations
congratulations in French. So when they finished and they won, they then took them to some water waste treatment plants there so that they could see how in Belgium, so they could kind of see what they were doing there and how their project might tie into it. So we were very proud of her because in years past, the engineering students had participated but never won. They didn't have a business component to it.
That's
so
awesome.
They asked for somebody to help, and Gabrielle stepped up to do it.
And to think that they were the only ones, I guess, from the U.S. that were participating.
Yeah.
I was really proud to read that because I thought that's a life-changing event for a young student.
It definitely is.
And I think that's the wave of the future. What if there was no waste in cities?
Right.
And so what they were doing is just right on. So
yes.
I'm just glad they were there when it was a safe
Yes, they were very glad that they were back home by the time that incident happened.
Yeah. Any other things going on, like students, anything, anybody getting recognition or?
Lots of things going on, lots of recognition. The whole college was recently recognized because we have been reaccredited for another 5 years. So the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business is a program that we've been associated with since 2005. And so every 5 years we go up for reaccreditation, and we just found out in February that we made it again. So that's quite an endeavor. Thank you. Appreciate that. With that, you know, we have lots of students that we were able to recognize in that particular report, that self-study that we had to do. So we have a student who's with the United Nations in an internship right now. And we have Gabriella, and we have the student at United Nations, but then we have so many students here that we are so proud of that are just doing some remarkable things.
Right.
So we're excited about them. We piloted this past semester a portfolio management program through the finance department. And Dr. Praveen Das is heading this program, and the foundation has committed to give us $1 million fund for them to manage. So it's going to take time to build up. We started with $100,000, but they're managing, they're doing research on all the stocks, and they're deciding what to buy and making recommendations to the UL's finance board. And so we're excited about that, because what we just found out was that the president approved for us to build a lab that can be used for financial services portfolio management.
Wow.
So we should have more students going through that type of experience and learning hands-on.
Real life.
Yeah.
Real life.
Yeah. So we're excited about those types of things.
Yeah.
We have some students that are leaving probably tomorrow or day after to go to the National Collegiate Sales Competition. So we have a team that's going to Kennesaw State University to compete, and that's the biggest sales competition in the United States, and we've been competing there for several years.
So this is a bigger version of what I saw when I was judging.
Yes.
But they're against the top of the food chain.
When you were judging, we were selecting the team from here to go from UL, and then some of them went up to Russ Berry Institute in New Jersey. Some go to Florida to a program sponsored by in Orlando by Florida State, and then this particular program in Kennesaw. So we're excited about that. We have 2 students competing in that.
Yeah. You had mentioned that there's a good intern program. Would you talk about that some, about what that is and what it offers?
Sure. Our internship program is an elective for most of the students. The hospitality management and the professional land and resource management programs require their students to do internships. But it's an opportunity for them to take what they've learned in the class and go and apply it in a real world business. So any major, could be accounting, it could be finance, economics, marketing, any major can go to work in a business. So if you have a business, you can just register with our program. Dr. Brandy Guidry-Oye is our internship director, and we have a grad assistant who is the internship coordinator who runs the office for us. And so students can come to them and ask for help, or they can go out and find their own internship. But basically they work 150 hours in a semester. They have to have...
That's quite a bit.
It's a good bit. They have to be a junior, and they have to have a 2.0 cumulative GPA. And so the students go out and work under supervision of somebody who's in their field. So we have a lot of students, say, with Northwestern Mutual doing internships, or with State Farm or companies like that. We have a student who does an internship at McElhenney and in their international relations. So just all over, any kinds of businesses, restaurants, retail. And so they go in and they work under somebody who's in their area of expertise. So they get to see what's happening real life from what they've learned in the classroom.
Right, right. Are most of the interns paid?
They are.
Like a minimum wage, or what is
it? It ranges. We've had some professional land and resource management majors making $26 an hour in Oklahoma.
Gosh.
That was before the bottom fell out.
Right.
But they range from minimum wage, probably on average, to about $14 an hour.
Which is still good.
It is. We do have a few that are free, that are non-paid internships, but it's primarily when the students just see an opportunity that they just know that that's what they want to do, and maybe it's a not-for-profit company that can't pay, and they just don't want to miss that experience.
Right.
Sometimes, like cane cutters, we had students doing that, and they wanted to be in sports marketing or sports management, and they weren't paying, but they wanted to do it anyway.
And that was cool.
Yeah.
I know the Chalmers, I know that they're trying to get that really off the ground for our community. I guess it is off the ground, but
Yeah.
local baseball.
Yeah, so they work in all different sizes, types of companies, but just depends on their interest. And they can do it for credit, for one class for credit, but then they can do as many as they want to, just
So
for
it's
the
3
experience.
hours?
It's a 3-hour credit course.
For the 150 hours, is that the equivalent of being in a classroom for the
It
semester?
is, but there's also, it's actually more.
It sounds like it's more,
But then there's also an academic component. So it's far more than being in a
Oh.
classroom. But they come in and check in with the instructors and get some instruction during the semester. And like every week they typically meet. Some of them do logs about their activities and what they're learning, and others have to read books and write reports that go along with their experience.
Busy.
But yes,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work for the 3 hours credit.
Right,
Yeah.
but if you have to do it,
Yeah.
you learn so much more than just getting the
Definitely.
credit.
And
so.
it sets them apart. You know, when somebody sees on their resume that they've done an internship, they immediately
yeah.
want to talk about that.
And I know Sandy Chalmers told me, back to the cane cutters example, I think she told me she had some outstanding interns.
She did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what happens is the internship turns into a job. And so the company like Sandy might, decide that I
Right.
want to hire this person. And so in fact, she has hired several of our students.
Yeah. I'm glad you
Yeah.
put that together for me.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. We've got a few minutes left. The budget cuts with the state, has that affected your program, your college?
It's definitely going to affect us. We've done fairly well, however. I think the administration has managed the budget very well.
Okay.
And so we've been fortunate that we're not losing faculty, we're not losing staff, we're not having to do overload teaching. Everything is pretty much status quo right now. Next year may be different,
Right.
but right now we've managed to do very well. So we're excited because the president has said keep hiring, keep moving forward, and so we have some new faculty members coming in. We have 6 endowed chairs that we're trying to hire for. In fact, we have about 3 of them that we look like we probably will be able to hire them. So I'm encouraged because we're still being able to move forward and position ourselves well in the marketplace.
Well, I'm glad I asked because, we hear so much bad news.
Yeah.
I'm glad that, I think Joe Savoie has been so progressive
He has.
as the head of our school.
He really has.
I'm just proud that we have him in place. But I
Yes.
wondered about that because you just hear all the gloom and doom, which is very real.
Right,
for our
it is
universities.
real.
Yeah.
And I just think that they have just done such a good job of managing it that we haven't felt it yet
Yeah.
in the trenches, so to
Right.
speak. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to do another show one day about your time owning a bakery. But
Okay.
were you the chef? Were you the?
I
or
did
just the
everything.
owner? You did?
I was supposed to just be the marketing person, but I ended
You
up doing.
baked?
I did. I baked and did a lot of other aspects of it, the ordering and everything.
Is
Yeah.
that your hobby or is that your
No, not anymore.
avocation?
No,
Oh, you gave it up?
I gave it up. Yeah, that was just too much. That was too much work.
Oh gosh, I think I would explode if I had a bakery because I love frosting. I don't eat the cake, but
Yeah,
the frosting
I
is the
ate less
best.
when I was working there.
You got sick of
Yeah,
it, I'm
yeah.
sure, just
But
smelling it
going
all
to
the
work
time.
at midnight just kind of didn't.
Oh.
That wasn't what
Was
I
that
had in
here?
mind. It was in Evangeline Parish.
Where your family is?
Yeah, yeah,
God, sounds
yeah.
cute.
So it was interesting.
What was the name of it?
It was Magnolia Bakery.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I wouldn't have put you as a baker, but I love learning about people, Gwen, like what they've
Yeah.
done, really, that they're not known for, but
Right.
what's
Well,
kind of
I've done lots of
made them
things.
well-rounded.
I had the cattle ranch, had the bakery, had
did?
a newspaper. Yeah.
in Evangeline Parish?
Yeah,
You had
Yeah.
a cattle ranch?
I did.
What town were you in?
In Vidrine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. So
And they were all bigger than you,
yeah.
all the cattle. Was that a family endeavor, or was that just
Well,
you?
my family had a farm, and then I
Uh-huh.
just bought my grandparents' property and just decided to do it.
Uh-huh.
So I did that for a while.
And then what else did you do? You said
I owned a newspaper, the Acadian. It was a lifestyle newspaper
Yeah.
here. And
Oh, here?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
in Lafayette.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Lafayette. We started in St. Landry,
Mm-hmm.
and then we expanded to the Acadiana area.
So you really do have on-the-ground experience with
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Not that those were small businesses, but I think running a small business has got to be one of the most difficult things.
It
just
is.
meeting payroll,
Yeah.
meeting your obligations, and,
Yeah.
and staying
Quite
sane.
the challenge.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of flow and learning all the different aspects,
Yeah.
you have to learn it all.
You have to learn everything.
Yeah.
How to market yourself. How to.
Right.
Well, you already knew that.
Yeah.
But how to.
And
stay
I had an
afloat.
auction business. I'm a licensed auctioneer.
You are?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I asked this last question because, to me, the real pleasure of this show is getting to know people and what they're like and what they bring, because you're bringing a well-rounded approach to your position as interim dean. So,
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for being
My
on
pleasure.
the show, and it's
Thank
a pleasure getting to know you.
Thank you so much.
We've had as today's guest Dr. Gwen Fontenot, interim dean of the B.I. Moody III College of Business Administration at UL, and I'm Jan Swift. I'd like to thank you for joining us. This show and all of our shows can be seen on our website at upperlafayette.com, and it airs on the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 8:30 p.m. on AOC 2. On behalf of Upper Lafayette Economic Development Foundation, I'm Jan Swift. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, rock, chaque fois le ben après jouer.